Jata?
Yeah.
9 seats outstanding. Registration has just started. What's the way forward? And for you?
Well, I think that JB has done justice to the transition and all. The 9 seats saga, I know that our base is really deeply worried about what happens to or appears to be in some instances pure criminality being perpetrated by persons who ought to know better at the Electoral Commission. I've seen a video of Bossman Asare where a journalist was asking him to show which law permits the Electoral Commission to recollate. And he quotes Regulation 43 and 47 of CI 143 and I think Article 40 of the Constitution, none of which actually empower the Electoral Commission to do recollation. I've seen the tweets from the Electoral Commission suggesting that in 2004 there was a recollation again. Again, that's factually incorrect. I've spoken to persons who were at the Electoral Commission at the time, directors at the Electoral Commission at the time, and they've been very clear on what happened. It was in Pru East. It was not a recollation. There was no recollation done at the time. And so what the Electoral Commission has done is illegal. It's in contempt of a Supreme Court injunction. And so all the persons who carried out that exercise are liable for contempt of court. And I believe that it's important that we lay down the gauntlet and set a precedent so that people do not abuse arbitrarily powers that have been given to them. In fact, the conduct of the Electoral Commission is what the Constitution warns about in Article 296, where it says that you will not use public power arbitrarily and capriciously. That's basically what you're seeing the Electoral Commission do. I mean, it's clear to everybody that in Obuasi East, for example, where that gentleman stood and fought 2 military men who were on an illegal assignment, and the people of Obuasi East voted for the NDC candidate. He was duly declared as parliamentary candidate elect, and then the Electoral Commission comes to Accra to try and re-announce or re-declare somebody else. That's illegal, and that will not be countenanced. You understand me? In Okaikwe North, and I've heard Bossman Asare, he stopped short of mentioning my name. I think that's cowardice. You know, if he is confident in what he's saying, I'm mentioning his name. He should be bold enough to mention my name. He claims that an MP was laid at his hands and at gunpoint and knife point forced their returning officer.
You have a gun and a knife.
To declare results in Okaikwe Central. First and foremost, Mr. Bossman Asare must know that he's not clothed himself in any glory or dignity in his conduct as Deputy Electoral Commissioner. From his irresponsible comments of saying that the NDC is a threat to our democracy, to his pure partisan behavior, even at IPAC meetings. I mean, and to suggest that Okaikwe Central, Mr. Bossman Asare should show Ghanaians evidence of the returning officer reporting to the Electoral Commission that he made those declarations under duress. Look, there are videos of me walking with the Electoral Commissioner. Yes. The Electoral Commissioner's name is Mr. Degenu, the returning officer for Okaikwe Central. His name is Mr. Degenu. He's alive. He's not dead. What they did at Tesano, they brought somebody who is not the returning officer.
Where was the returning officer?
He refused to show up. He said to them he will not be part of the illegality. And so go and see the declaration that was done. Look, and you see, they have circulated a video of myself and the returning officer. His picture is there. The video of him doing the declaration is there. Now go and take footage of the declaration of Patrick Boama that was done at Tesano and see if it is the same person. Because they have not disputed that the person who did that declaration of Baba Sadek is the returning officer. They claim he did it under duress. How is it that returning officer has now changed to a different person? The reason why they asked A.B. Bright's declaration to be brought back is they claim that a different returning officer did her declaration.
Yeah.
Now they have gone to find another person, not the returning officer, Mr. Degenu, Courage Degenu, to do the declaration. So that declaration of Patrick Bossman is null and void and of no consequence. It's an illegality, and everybody involved. Look, the individual who went there on whoever's instruction to pretend to be the returning officer is a criminal.
Exactly.
Because what he's done is pure criminal. To pretend
to be somebody,
to be a public officer, declaring an election when you are not. And I think that we must ensure that the law works for once to serve as a deterrent to people. So that's the PAA KWESI central issue. And yes, look, people say, oh, you did a declaration with 110 out of 141 polling stations. Absolutely, nobody is disputing that. But you see, as the NDC, we would not accept a situation where the NPP claim that they did not have their pink sheets, but they have scanned copies of pink sheets. Yeah. You can only have a scanned copy when you have the original to scan. We demanded to see those scanned the original copies of the scan. They didn't present them. Then the Electoral Commission brings master sheets, and in those 31 polling stations, you realize that one, the handwriting is the same. How do you expect me? And people say, what was my business there? I was there as an agent of the party. We had completed in Ningo Pram Pram on Sunday. This activity at the regional office was on Monday. And the party is at liberty to determine who becomes their representation. Exactly. At the time I was there with Peter Boama Otukuno, Fred Owari and Frank Davis were present
in their capacity
as what? For Patrick Boama. They were allowed to be there. So when people say what was Sam George's business there, I was there as my party's agent.
Excellent.
I had legal locus there. Yeah. I had accreditation from the Electoral Commission to be there. The regional director, Madam Pinkra, actually when we pointed out the consistency of handwriting on the 31 master sheets, was so shell-shocked, she said she wanted the police to immediately investigate the matter because this was criminal. Her words. So how do you expect me as an agent to accept 31 fraudulent master pink sheets, master sheets, collation sheets, declaration forms? I won't. And that's why we said we will not accept them. And Mr. Fred Owari and Frank Davis, myself and Otukuno had a meeting there where we agreed that given the challenges with those 31, once the 110 there were no challenges, we should proceed with that. Anybody who had a challenge could then go to court, because the only way to determine what really went on their two routes in those 31 polling stations was to go back into the ballot boxes and recount the ballot papers in the ballot boxes, or to rehold the election in those 31 polling stations. But the Electoral Commission does not have the power to do so. Only a high court has the power to declare any of those two directions. And so what you do is you declare what is not in contention. If someone is aggrieved, they go to court, and the court will give a direction on what to do. It does not lie in Jean Mensah's mouth or Bossman Asare's mouth to determine what to do. In the case of A.B. Bright, declaration has been done. Collation of all the pink sheets had been done. She had won. Now you claim that the person who did the declaration is not the right person. Okay, let the right person come and do the declaration. And then you claim that you are now manufacturing your own figures again. That will not hold. In the case of Ablekuma North, Irabina Oben, Ekwe who is the MPP candidate, shows up there. 281 polling stations. She does not have a single pink sheet. Not even one. Yet she has 281 scanned pink sheets. No fiscal pink sheet. Again, the Electoral Commission at the time said they were attacked and their pink sheets got destroyed. They had 160 pink sheets that they had already entered onto their collation system before the attack. So what we did was we agreed that since there are three parties in the collation, the Electoral Commission, the NDC and the NPP, at any point in time where 2 of the 3 parties can agree on the numbers, we would accept it. So once the EC had 160, we had our pink sheets. We had 245 of our pink sheets out of 281. The rest got damaged. We had the fiscal pink sheets. So what we will do is we will verify the 160 the EC had. They can also use their scan to verify, but we will verify with the EC. So we verified the 160 from the EC and then continued to do another 56, which brought us to 59, which brought us to 219 polling stations based on our pink sheets. Anytime we stated our figures, the MPP also checked their so-called scan and said they agreed with them. We took a break on Monday at 8:45 p.m. Now, if Bossman Asare says that the presiding officer in Ablekuma North was also under duress, he's called Mr. Obeng. Mr. Obeng left. If I had put him under duress and he stayed there till 8:45, we closed and he went home to Kwashiman, slept, woke up in the morning and picked the vehicle and came back again the following day.
And he was still under threat.
What kind of duress is that? If the man was under duress and went home, why did he come back? He came back and declared the results because he said he would not accept pinches. And you see, I must commend Mr. Obeng because he showed up at Tesano. And when he showed up at Tesano and the MPP and the region and the EC at National were compelling him to accept the MPP scan copies, he said that's not what they trained him to do. If they have scan copies, he wants to see the fiscal pink sheet because scan copies can be altered. And so where we stand today, I hear there's a meeting today. If the MPP has their pink sheets, they should bring them. If they don't have their pink sheets, they either declare based on what has been done. Anybody who has a challenge should go to court. Let the court then determine that we should go back, and if we've declared counted 219, the remaining 62, if the court says that we should go back and hold the election in those 62 polling stations because those ballot boxes are here have been damaged in a fire at the Kwashiman school. So there are no ballot boxes to go to. So if the EC says that, look, 62, if the court says that the 62 polling stations can affect the status of the election, you call a re-election in those 62 polling stations. And then but to think that they would declare people to come there, we will resist it and oppose it. So I think that where we sit, the next parliament has a cardinal and critical role to play. We've been given an overwhelming mandate.
Just before you go into that, these 9 seats, and out of the 9, 7 have been declared for the 6 or 7.
I think 7. 7 have been declared as 2
in favor of the NPP. Are these guys going to be allowed to register for the next parliament?
As far as I'm concerned, again, I can't speak for the parliamentary service. The parliamentary service does the registrations. But one thing I know, and one thing I am sure of, is that on the 9th of the 6th, when we meet to elect the speaker, those 7 will not be allowed to swear the oath.
Okay.
And this is a solemn promise the NDC group in parliament, the supermajority, is making to the country. We will not allow that illegality to continue. No, they will be stopped until the matter is properly determined before they come in there. Because you see, we need to understand that people cannot, Afenyo Markins cannot arrogate to himself the decision to determine who becomes a member of parliament, going around and working in cahoots with Jean Mensah and Bossman Asare to do what they want to do. No. We would stop them from being sworn in on the 9th of the 6th until that matter is properly determined by a court. Because don't forget, that declaration, as far as we are concerned, is illegal. It's null and void because there was an injunction from a Supreme Court.
Exactly.
There was an injunction application filed at the Supreme Court, and so the EC should have respected that. We will not be party to that illegality and allow it to continue. No. And so we are committed to ensure that on that day, look, we need to form quorum in Parliament. You need 184. In fact, less than, we need 94.
No, but some George, I listened to the Honorable Freddie Blay, with all due respect, a senior statesman, a very senior most lawyer of great repute. Why not? Even if it's 1 seat, even if we had 200 seats, once that seat was lawfully ours, and exactly. In that election, let's read the room. Beyond the legalities, every single Ghanaian intended to have an NDC parliamentary candidate.
Yeah.
Simple. And I think that we ought to go after those seats no matter the circumstances.
No. We would,
and I'm happy that today, for example, the Supreme Court will be hearing the parties again.
Yes.
Let's see what comes after that.
Exactly.
Each and every seat belonging to us lawfully will be accounted.
Will be accounted for. Look at Dome Kwabinya.
Yes.
Eli Klim Akurugu has fought and won that seat.
A good fight.
A very good fight. Look, and they say that there are issues with 3 polling stations.
Can you imagine?
Just 3 polling stations.
Ghana's largest constituency.
Out of almost 300, over 300 polling stations. Now, you know the interesting thing. If you look at the voter turnout, if you look at the voter turnout in that constituency, and even in those polling stations, and you even give the totality of those 3 polling stations to Mike Okwe, LP will still beat him.
That is it.
So why are you holding her up? You see, and for me, this goes to establish why I'm grateful to God that the presidential, he listened to Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia's prayer.
The gap should be wide.
The gap should be wide. Because imagine that the gap wasn't wide.
Can you imagine what
in this
election?
election?
But before that, just imagine that we hadn't agreed to count the presidential ballot
first. Yes.
That is all they were waiting for. You know, look, on this occasion, Sam George, I keep telling you, God made sure that every step of the way,
He guided us.
He guided us. It's as simple as that.
It is. I mean, this country would have been thrown into chaos
yes.
by the electoral
Absolutely.
commission. Well, even with this wide gap, it took them how many hours? Almost 96 hours to declare.
Yes, even after the plan.
And even after that,
what they're doing.
Yes.
You know,
and I just don't get it. Jean Mensa, Bossman, Asare, and the rest. Exactly what are they looking
and
for?
One thing that broke my heart was that, you know, when we even tried to criticize the work of the EC, I know some women who took it as a very personal thing, even claiming that it was like women.
Where were they when Charlotte Osei was on the chopping board?
You know?
Where were they?
I was really sad. I thought of all the feedback, I'll be the last person. The issue is about the work of the EC.
Yeah.
The work of the EC, the output of the EC. You have a CI 127, Suomoto, dictating the regulations, guiding the elections. The recollation and things you're doing now, if I apply that word doesn't even appear.
It doesn't appear. There's no recollation anywhere. It's an illegality.
So what exactly are they doing?
It's a complete illegality.
Those actions and
that
inactions
is my
could
point.
plunge this
And
country
in 2020,
into chaos.
they
And you
made-
say because she's a woman,
Yes,
we
we
should
should
talk
keep
about
quiet.
it.
Talk about it. What does that mean? So the
no.
question is that what are we talking? So why, when women are given responsibility, we ought not to criticize
No,
the
at
output?
all, because they are women.
Thank you.
And I disagree.
No, that's wrong. And I think that, look, where we sit as a country, we need to be thankful for the grace and goodness of God upon our land, and for what He's done for us. But I honestly believe that we owe it to the Ghanaian people. And look, you just need to read social media and listen to public commentary that the Ghanaian people expect that the NDC will not cede those seats.
But it's not a
Just
gift.
like that.
Why should we be seating them? It's
Absolutely,
a contest.
because I live in Okaikwe Central, and look, the people who've walked up to me and said, "Sam, this is the first time we've ever voted for MPP, for NDC.
NDC.
Yes.
This is the first time we've given you this
Many
seat,
people, yes.
and we expect you to fight for it with everything you have.
vote.
Protect our vote.
Everywhere you
know,
walk
because and people see that as a sign that we're ready to also protect the public purse
Exactly.
and go after those who've looted the purse, because they feel that if what we've given to you can't even protect, how can you go after those who've looted the purse? And so this, for me, it is a given that it's not negotiable that we owe it to the Ghanaian people to go back and get those seats lawfully, because they were lawfully won. We will not allow the gerrymandering and the arm twisting that happened in 2020 that took 8 seats In 2020,
away.
8 seats were taken away from the NDC in similar manner.
And I disagree when people simply say that, oh, you people have 180 plus seats. Why can't you just let this go? We are not letting go. We are protecting what is
ours. It's a question of law.
Yes.
It's a question of fact.
Yes.
It's a question of principle.
Yes.
And it's a question of what must not be allowed to stand if it is an illegality.
Yes.
That one will not be counting us. And I think we must accept that there is every reason to go after what is right. There's precedent. They've held other parliamentarians in abeyance for 4 years, for the whole time. We are very ready and poised to do so. You see, Sam George, all I ask is that every single Ghanaian voter should do what is right and lawful.
Exactly.
And trust the process.
That's it.
That's it.
That's it. We owe it as a duty. We cannot let the Ghanaian and on this one, the public sentiment is aligned with our position that we must go for the seats that were given to
very
the NDC.
Important. And even when we post on social media, the last time when those seats were declared, I went posted, comrades, relax, whatever, we are more than them. Go and read the comments.
I mean,
people simply do not want to
people
listen.
Don't want to listen. People
saying.
think that
all they need is those seats.
Because Obi, you look at Obuasi East, that gentleman who stood up to the soldiers.
Exactly.
He's got family. Those weapons were life.
Yeah.
That's how much the base and the rank and file of our party and ordinary Ghanaians fought to give us those seats.
In Adenta, there was a similar situation. It was ordinary citizens who literally prevented them.
So you cannot take the blood and toil of Ghanaians for granted. I mean, it won't happen.